that the lost paradise of Eden was an African location.
A few decades ago, one woman captured the world with a bold claim about Igboland. That woman was Professor Acholonu, the Nigerian scholar, writer, and cultural researcher whose groundbreaking research challenged the world to rethink Igboland's place in history. I believe every Nigerian, especially the Igbos, should watch this video. And I am surprised the video was not widely distributed because it's not new. Catherine Acholonu, who was selected as a Fulbright scholar by the US government in 1990 and was the special advisor to the Nigerian president on arts and culture in the early 2000s, died in March 2014. Her book, They Lived Before Adam, presents controversial yet fascinating ideas about ancient Igbo civilization and their role in the story of humanity. But what exactly did she say? And why does her message still spark debates today? Let's watch. Please click the like button to support my channel. Thank you.
I'd like to first of all address the significance of the work we have done, the research we have done. We believe that our findings have expanded the parameters of knowledge. We believe that our findings call for another look at the history of mankind. We believe that it is important that history be rewritten so that Africa's place, Black Africa's place in it, will be ensured. The contributions of Black Africans towards the making of world civilizations are what our findings are about. I stand here today not just as myself alone, but as head of a research team set up in 2004 under the auspices of the United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture, Nigeria. The United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture is a program of the Global Secretariat of the UNCCD, of which I happen to be the Nigeria representative and Goodwill Ambassador. This research team has in it personalities such as Dr. Ajay Prabhakar, an Indian software technology engineer and specialist of the United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture. Ms. Nneka Ebuna, a senior culture officer in UNESCO Nigeria. Honorable Edi Olumba, an applied arts specialist and a distinguished alumnus of Manhattanville College, Purchase, New York, the art and culture consultant of United Nations Forum of Arts and Culture. These are a few of those I will name among our research team. I myself am a professor of linguistics and African cultural studies, a former Fulbright scholar at the Westchester Consortium for International Studies, and visiting professor at Manhattanville College, Iona College, College of New Rochelle, Marymount College, all in New York State. They Lived Before Adam is my 16th published book, and the second in a series which are the result of this research project, which originally began in 1990, 19 years ago in the state of New York, and precisely on the campus of Manhattanville College. Therefore, on behalf of my co-authors and co-researchers and myself, we express our gratitude to the U.S. State Department, to the Fulbright Organization, and to the Westchester Consortium for International Studies for this support I received between 1989, when I discovered and published the Igbo roots of African slave author and American slave author, Olaudah Equiano, also called Gustavus Vassa. And 1991, when these institutions I've mentioned granted me the honor of enjoying their hospitality and support as U.S. international visitor and as a Fulbright scholar in residence here in New York. They Lived Before Adam is the sequel to another work titled The Gram Code of African Adam, Stone Books and Cave Libraries, reconstructing 450,000 years of Africa's lost civilizations, published in 2005. Together, these two books make up a total of about 1,150 pages. To underscore its importance, the Gram Code of African Adam, when it was published, was presented to the world on the 25th of September 2005 by the then President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, represented by the Minister of Culture and Tourism, Ambassador Frank Ogbewu, I am here on the invitation of the Harlem Book Fair, the largest black book fair in the world, to present our new book, They Lived Before Adam. Its findings, on the prehistoric origins of the Igbo, They Never Been Ruled. Alternative title is The Igbo Since 1.6 Million BC. Two things mark out our work as a new, and as some say, groundbreaking addition to scholarship. The first is the discovery and transcription of lost stone writings of prehistoric Africans. These inscribed stones, located in southern Nigeria in a very rural place called Ekom in Cross River State, have been attracting international researchers since the colonial days, but we were the first to see their inscriptions as a form of writing and to actually isolate and transcribe some of its letters. Another series of stone inscriptions called Ogam, found in Ireland, which many linguists have been struggling with for decades, were also transcribed by our team into an African language still spoken today in Nigeria. In fact, some Ogam inscriptions were found in West Virginia in USA. What we have found in the case of the inscribed monolith of southeastern Nigeria, the monolith of Ekom, is that they contain two letters that were the foundation of proto-cuneiform, a writing system used in Mesopotamia or Sumer before 4000 BC. The letters in question are the letter Ki and the letter Shi, the first and the last of the Old Sumerian orthography. We also found some basic letters of early Egyptian hieroglyphics, such as the letters R and the letters N on the stones of Ekom. But the majority of the letters on the stones are from a Dravidian Indian language called Malayalam, as well as symbols now recognized as universal due to the fact that they now form the root of most cultures, religions, and sciences in the world. These include the cross, the spiral, the triangle, the circle, the concentric circle, and every other known geometric shape. The antiquity of the stones and the fact that they were discovered in the virgin forest where many were buried underground shows that they were indigenous and that they belong to the twilight days of human history, prehistory indeed. Oral tradition of the natives of Ekom say that the inscriptions were executed by the Stone Age people, the first humans to inhabit the area, and that they were invented by the first mother of humankind. They call this first mother Shishe, and say that she was the first woman to have borne a child by pregnancy, and that her first child was a boy, through whom sin and death came into the world. The monolith dedicated to her in Ekom bear the name Shishe, just like the oral tradition, written in an orthography that includes proto-cuneiform, that is Sumerian proto-cuneiform, proto-Canaanite, Dravidian Malayalam, and others. Her Ekom name, Shishe, is the same Hebrew name which Adam called Eve in the biblical story of creation. Her eyes and mouth form the Canaanite Hebrew letter Ayin, which is the first and highest sephira in the Hebrew Kabbalah. It represents the no thing, the infinite, the ineffable God. There are over 300 of these stones in Ekom, Nigeria. Another thing that marked a turning point in our research was the discovery by a team of archaeologists of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka of early Stone Age hand axes and other stone implements belonging to the time zone of 1.6 million BC to 500,000 BC. The archaeologists, Professor F.N. Anozie, Professor J.O. Ijoma, and others working with some British faculty members of the Department of Archaeology, University of Nigeria in Nsukka in the 70s, discovered several lorry loads of non-polished as well as polished hand axes, picks, and other implements in a place called Ugwele in the zone of Okigwe in southeastern Nigeria. Their conclusion, published in a number of local journals at the time, that the Okigwe home of Homo erectus, or Nigerian early man, was the one-stop shop, the warehouse that supplied survival tools to all pockets of Homo erectus habitation worldwide. For us, this means that it was from Okigwe, prehistoric Nigeria, that the out of Africa migrations of early man took off to populate the 5 continents of the globe. More so because Homo erectus implements discovered all over the world all look like they were made in the same Okigwe factory. This was also the conclusion of the archaeologists. Our linguistic analysis of samples of words from a number of languages spoken in all 5 continents of the globe today confirm what several other linguists have long suspected and concluded, that mankind, as the Hebrew Bible says, spoke one language at the beginning. Our comparative linguistic analysis of words from many languages across the globe show that Igbo, the language group that includes Okigwe, the home of the Nigerian Homo erectus, was in fact spoken by the earliest inhabitants of countries as far-flung as Nigeria, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Turkey, India, China, Greece, United Kingdom, North America, South America, including the Greenland Eskimos. In fact, the 2 vernacular words that survived in Plato's description of Atlantis were found to be in sound and in meaning to have been directly derived from the Igbo language environment. So too were 90% of words used by Adam and his household, especially names of people and places and their meanings. Our research includes the origin and meanings of symbols used in every religion and sacred literature all over the world. In these, we found that Hebrew Bible, the Kabbalahs of the Hebrews and the Chinese, the Hindu Vedas and Ramayana, and the recently discovered Egyptian Christian Bible called the Nag Hammadi are of immense importance in revealing lost knowledge. Wherever we looked, we found evidence confirming the claims by geneticists who have been conducting mitochondrial DNA research in 4 leading universities here in USA, that all mankind came from sub-Saharan Africa, that Eve and Adam were black Africans. However, whereas it had been previously believed that Adam and Eve were descended from East African Lucy, our findings reveal that it was not an East African Lucy, but more like an Igbo Nigerian Chioma. This is the name of the first lady of my state, who is actually from Okigwe, the home of the Homo erectus, who was Homo habilis ancestor of Eve and Adam. So what I'm saying is that it was not Eve, it was not Lucy, but rather a Nigerian Chioma, an Igbo Chioma, who was the ancestor, the Homo habilis ancestor of Homo erectus, who did the out of Africa migrations. We say this because research conducted by French paleontologists, led by Professor Michael Brunet, revealed that Australopithecus, the direct ancestor of Homo erectus, the ancestor of Homo sapiens, or Adam, lived at the Nigeria-Chad basin 7 million years, predating Lucy and even her newfound ancestors by a whopping 2 to 4 million years. This again confirms what Igbo oral traditions tell us, that we did not come from anywhere, that we are autochthons, that we are children of evolution, the uncreated, the never been ruled, the kings and queens of the earth and its peoples. Thus, Igbo oral traditions confirm the findings of geneticists that by 280,000 BC, human evolution was interrupted, and Adam, a hybrid, was created through the process of genetic engineering. However, our findings reveal that the creation of Adam was a downward climb on the evolutionary ladder because he lost his divine essence. He became divided, no longer whole or wholesome. All over Africa and in ancient Egyptian records, oral and written traditions maintain that Homo erectus people were heaven beings and possessed mystical powers such as telepathy, levitation, bilocation, that their words could move rocks and mountains and change the course of rivers. Adam lost all that when his right brain was shut down by those who made him. created him. The direct descendants of Homo erectus were the small dwarfs who were the heroes of folk tales in every part of the world. It was they who founded and sustained Igbo civilization, where they continued to function till they were driven out by colonialists only recently. It was they who transported Igbo language and culture to all corners of the globe. Therefore, we say that the things falling apart, which you read about in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, to whom this publication, The Leaf Before Adam, is dedicated, refers to the falling apart not only of the Igbo of the colonial period, but of the prehistoric Igbos, the ancestors of mankind. Adam, who was taken from his Nigerian ancestry and moved and changed and altered and made to become less than his ancestry. The significance of the this research work confirms both theories of evolutionism as well as creationism. That these two theories played some part in the development of the human species. That indeed mankind is one family, and black Africans are the oldest ancestors of humankind, and the first to be called Homo. That the lost paradise of Eden was an African location. That in fact, it was a West African and Nigerian location, and that the solutions to the problems created by modernity through the fall of Adam are to be sought in Black Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you.